Action.
All right. Hello.
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 All
We're
right.
gonna talk about some nursing theories.
Yes, let's do it.
All right. So my theory that I want to talk about is transformational leadership.
Good one.
Yeah, we all have previous experiences with leaders, and we all know what we would want to emulate with them, and where we want to be with it. What we think is a great leader, I guess. There you go. So for transformational leadership theories, the objective is to show the leader can transform subordinates and motivate them to achieve their fullest potential. That's a big deal, I think. And then they involve assessing the motives of followers and satisfying their needs. They understand the motives of the followers, and like I said, they help them attain their fullest potential. Some characteristics that I think are very important for a transformational leader: they empower others. They're aware of the importance of change, like in an organization or a practice. They like innovation, which is like something new, and they serve as the agent of, like kind of changing this
Progress, like
right.
Making progress.
Another thing I like about it is, they kind of like give it to
The employees,
yeah,
followers.
like so. Where I work, downtown Orlando, we have a nurse practice council, and there is no management in that. There's nobody involved that is a manager, which is important because it gives the nurse a chance to explore everything. But the manager is the one that says, hey, we need to do this. We need to do that, such as like fall reduction or, medication errors, or big thing at the trauma center is, like making sure our documentation's good, because that's how we get our money,
Right.
That's important.
Yeah.
So basically they're leaving it up to you guys to like create the interventions. Like, how are we going to do this?
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Giving you guys a voice.
Right. And, we kind of go through trials. We'll see if this works, if it doesn't, we'll figure a different way,
Right.
We just like audit tools and stuff like that,
Yeah. Well, I feel like I can't like, say, oh yeah, transformational leadership, that's just the best type of leader. So I know everybody has different, factors that are important to them and what a leader is. But I think personally, transformational leadership, just the fact, I feel like for me, that's the most effective type of leadership, because you're excited about the change.
Right.
You get people excited about it. You get them motivated. You're very team oriented. They help you. They want to get their hands dirty too. Like
they're visible. Exactly. Yeah.
They're visible. Yeah, and I really enjoy leaders like that, because I know we've all had our own fair share of charge nurses, or who are the complete opposite, and it's just, and you just don't feel supported.
Definitely a difference between a leader and a boss.
Right. That's exactly right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I see why this is a great theory to study, especially for someone who is in the leadership role,
right?
Because it's so good for the whole organization to, like you said, just making those changes for the common good.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's just good all around.
So Lee, what are you presenting to us?
So I'm going to talk about the health belief model. And basically this model, it talks about, how patients or individuals need to alter certain health behaviors to prevent certain outcomes. But then there are lots of factors in determining whether these changes will be made, depending on the individual. So there are 5 factors that will determine if they'll be willing to make this change. The 5 factors are their perceived susceptibility of the problem, excuse me, which is the likelihood of the event happening to them or like developing, that outcome. Their perceived seriousness of the problem, which is obviously like the severity of the illness in their current state. Their perceived benefits, which is also like the efficacy of the advised action. So like what are they going to get out of it if they do make this change? And then there are perceived barriers to them making this change, which could possibly be family not having a support system, and also cues to action. The perceived susceptibility and the perceived severity equal the perceived threat, and the degree of that threat kind of determines if they're going to be willing to make that change.
Cool. So
as far as like our nursing practice, I think, this model kind of comes in effect, like just with us educating our patients every day, because, we're trying to get them to better their health by making, such and such changes. And, you come across these patients sometimes that are just like, yeah, I'm not going to do that. They just don't seem motivated. And so it's kind of up to us to be like, but like find out these barriers to why they won't make these changes, when that's our goal, is just to get them towards wellness on the health spectrum.
So would you recommend somebody say somebody's mom has diabetes or COPD or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and that they say that, oh, my mom or dad or whatever deals well with their disease, and I'm just going to mimic what they do, but in all actuality, they're just compounding like a snowball.
Right.
Would you, it's hard to say mom or dad, but would you say hey, why don't you change your surroundings? Why don't you just kind of avoid that and
try something new?
Yeah. Would you?
I would kind of I would just want to hear, what their loved one does, what are they doing to make themselves better, to make their disease better, and if it's working or not. I feel like, as a nurse, we have to be honest with our patients,
Right.
And we have to be like, for instance, if there's oh, my mom, she's only in the hospital, every once in a while. Well, there are things she could probably do to prevent her from going to the hospital, period.
Exactly.
It's kind of up to us to break it down and kind of dig deeper.
Yeah.
We're our patient advocates, so we're trying to, help them to the best of our ability.
Exactly. And then we're going to be ones that are providing this care for them.
Right. And they talk before they are discharged from the hospital. We're like their last line of education. So it's kind of up to us to really instill these, the honest truths about why they need to make these changes.
Definitely.
Right. So I think that's why this model is kind of important in our everyday nursing practice.
I agree.
So Tina, what do you have for us?
So what I'm presenting is a sociologic science theory, which is the chaos theory. The chaos theory teaches us that to basically expect the unexpected. It deals with psychology. Now we see it in medicine, and then we're applying it in nursing. Studying this theory allows us for creative thinking rather than just simply looking for a balance. Working in the emergency department, expecting the unexpected is the norm. Regardless how much you plan and try to prepare, it's never how it's going to be. It's always something different. The environment is unpredictable and it's always changing. So this brings me to the butterfly effect. The butterfly effect is sensitive dependence on the initial condition, on which a small change can result in a large difference in a later moment. So an example would be the nursing shortage on a unit. So, we have a nurse that, gets sent home because the census at the moment is low. Then we fill up the unit again, and then that nurse is needed, which leaves us working in chaos with a lack of appropriate staff. It all somehow works out, but it still brings a little bit of chaos in the unit.
Right.
So also there's this was also used for like budget projections and to try to figure out the nurse-patient ratios. This theory, it also helps to understand reality in terms of systems that are characterized by complexity, interconnection, and susceptibility. And that's where the 3 C's come in. So complexity identifies particular patterns. The chance deals with viewing the risk and putting yourself in that situation where you have the opportunity to learn more. And then change is where you become more comfortable with the uncertainty and are willing to explore new concepts and new ideas. So like with nursing, you have to expect the unexpected.
Always.
So do you think applying transformational leadership, like, so a lot of as being a charge nurse, sometimes our leader is like, you have to de-staff, this is crazy, just like what you said. Our census is low, stuff like that. Do you think that our leaders could empower us to find a better way of taking care of things? Like, all right, so we have all these nurses here. We have 20 patients and 4 nurses or 6 nurses that could take care of 24. Do you think maybe they could be used different areas? Like, I don't know. We have mandatory education. So let's use our hours differently. I don't know. Do you think somehow that transformational leadership could be, you know, kind of incorporated into the chaos theory, you know?
I think transformational leadership can be incorporated in anything that we do. It's just, I'm not sure exactly how to go about explaining this, but it's just, if you're a leader and you can actually like take control over the situation.
Right.
I think our leaders could help, it's like that butterfly effect, like, for instance, with the staffing shortages, because of one less nurse, you're going to have more patients.
Yeah.
So if a patient, falls because you're not in the room as often, because of the sending home that one nurse, then that just causes a whole, more than that one person's affected now. So you have to have surgery probably, and, anything, just a whole slew of things can happen. I feel like, being a transformational leader in this situation, they're kind of in a tough spot though, because they kind of have to, the organization is the one that's like, budget cuts and, we have too many staff, there's too much staff. And so they kind of
pick up their own team,
rules. But I feel like they could definitely play a part in, helping manage such effects,
The chaos, right?
Chaos.
Yes. It is controlled chaos.
Yes.
Yep. All right. Well, I think we did a good job talking about our theories.
I think so too.
Tina, how do you think? Yeah. All right.
It went well.
3 good ones.
Yeah. All right. Well, I hope everybody has a good night.
All right. You too.
All right. Good night.
Hope we're in a good time range.
Yeah, I think so.
All right.
All right. Bye.
Bye now.